there will be immense amounts of money tied up in such things. As far as possible, they should have a dual function of containing carbon emissions too. For example, if you build stronger buildings, they can withstand more violent weather at the same time as they're better insulated than older buildings were. So you can combine carbon reduction with proactive adaptation if you get your act right. Finally, fifthly, really, crucial point of my whole talk, and I think crucial for anyone understanding all these issues, but absolutely central for entrepreneurial activity, China must pioneer a new path of socio-economic development. China, as I said right at the beginning, is on an unsustainable path. It's not the only country, because the US, I think, is on even a more unsustainable path, especially as its world power shrinks. We have to pioneer a new path of development. You cannot just build endless mega cities and hope that everything will turn out all right. You cannot just allow millions and millions and millions of cars to descend on the roads and imagine that everything will turn out all right. We must experiment. And I think we're talking here about lifestyle change. We're talking about, for example, different forms of construction of cities. We're talking of not just following a Western model of city development. And there are many examples of this. If you have a community which is well functioning as a community and has quite strong bonds of solidarity, why build supermarkets which will drain that away, which will encourage more motor traffic, which undermines local businesses? It doesn't make sense. So I think we have to have tremendous exercise of social, economic, political imagination. Far too much on technology, as said at the beginning. That's not where the main opportunities. They're going to be big, but that's not where the main opportunities will lie. The entrepreneurs who succeed will be those who understand what a sustainable path of development looks like, even though it may be quite different from anything that's been followed before. I'd offer you as a kind of trivialized example, a sort of Starbucks model of that. I mean, I used to live in the United States, probably here, I know some people are from the US. You used to have horrible coffee in America. The only thing about it was endless. They would always fill your coffee cup. Who knew that Americans and the British are harboring some desire for much better coffee and for sociability where you meet other people to drink it? Well, nobody much until Starbucks took the initiative. Where did they make the money? They made the money by spotting a potential lifestyle change, and they built a global business as a result. I can tell you this will be multiplied 100-fold as we move towards a more sustainable civilization, as we recognize that industrial civilization in some sense has come to the end of the road, that we must have something different. That's where most of the entrepreneurial activities in the future will lie. And I don't think it's overstating it to say, to go back to my original point, that the future of human life on Earth will depend on whether or not we can chart such a path. It won't just be the case for China, it has to be the case for the industrial countries too. Anyone can see that GDP growth is not sufficient to deliver welfare. From about the 1970s, GDP growth becomes decoupled from welfare. People don't get any happier, they don't feel better, they have more problems actually in a simple growth model. You're talking a huge transformation here across the world. I feel it's up to intellectuals like me to try and pioneer the path towards this, but it's up to entrepreneurs like you to give it concrete flesh and form. And I think you will be living through these changes. It is up to you to give them sense and direction. It's up to you to resolve the massive problems which industrial civilization has created for itself. Thank you very much for your attention.